You ready?
Duke Bros.
Took Bros, happy Monday, or what is Tuesday for all of you people out there. This is the Mundane Pancakes podcast. I'm Lincoln.
I'm Avon.
This episode is brought to you by Taylor Swift's 10-minute version of All Too Well.
Oh my God.
I didn't know the song before Friday, but now, come on, Jake, give the scarf back. We all know you have it.
Like 10 minutes on SNL.
Yeah.
They said that was the longest song they've ever had on there, which I found surprising because they've had so many artists. But
yeah, it's, yeah.
well, thanks, Taylor Swift. Let's do a quick shout out for her. Thanks.
Thank you. I watched it.
You watched
obviously-
SNL?
Well, yeah, because Krista loves
right,
Taylor.
right.
And really wanted to see her performance on SNL. It was great. It was very like.
Did she sing it and act? Like she did the full duty, or she just sang? Like who was the guest? She was the musical guest.
I don't know
but
who the host was.
Yeah, who was the host?
It was not Taylor.
I thought maybe she was doing double duty.
No, she was in one skit, and actually, she was in one skit with Pete Davidson and three of the writers for the show.
Weird, but okay.
They were singing a song called Three Sad Virgins. And actually, she made like a surprise cameo in it and came in and was like singing the song. And she was like dancing up on these like three writers from SNL. And I'm looking at this and looking at Krista going like, there is no way I would have been like able to handle that. Because I'd be like, this is Taylor Swift. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, not that please don't touch me, but just like
dancing up on you.
Yeah, like I'd be like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's just like you're basically royalty, and like
I feel though, like when
you're
you
like a very we're not
oh,
worthy.
she is totally royalty. But like, I guess if you work in that industry, you're so used to meeting famous people that like, even sometimes if it's Taylor Swift, you're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The host was Jonathan Majors.
Okay. I'll be over here.
He's an actor. He was in Lovecraft Country, whatever that show was. He's been in a few things.
John Major.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like an artist, like a singing artist. Doesn't sound like an actor, but.
So yeah, Taylor released Red, Taylor's version, on Friday. Thursday night technically, to much acclaim. I've heard a lot of Taylor Swift over the weekend.
Of course.
Yep.
To much acclaim. Her fans are insane.
Yeah, well, she released a short film, multiple lyric videos. Today there's a new music video that she made with Blake Lively coming out.
Okay.
And then she had an appearance on Fallon, Seth Meyers, and SNL.
Jeez.
Like she was.
What else can you do?
She was everywhere all weekend.
Yeah, holy press junket.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Which is so yeah. Like I said, my entire weekend was just Taylor Swift.
Of course.
It was on a whole bunch. Like yeah.
Do you like her music?
I don't not like her music. It's not like I actively listen to it all the time anyway.
Right.
But that's just because Krista literally has it on all the time. And it's funny because Krista will sometimes be like, well, you know, in this song, Betty, where she does this blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, babe, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was like, well, you must have heard it by now. And I'm like, you're right. I probably have heard it by now, but I don't know what the songs are called. I don't know
who they be about.
I know that All Too Well is about Jake Gyllenhaal now.
Okay.
But prior to that, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then at one point she put on, there was one point during the weekend she put on, I don't know what song it was, but she put on a song and she goes, this is the saddest song in the world. And I'm like, great. And I went back to looking at my phone. She was like, you're not going to watch? And I was like, I don't necessarily need to be sad right now. Thank you. Like, why?
And you're like, are you trying to tell me something?
Yeah.
Like, do you need help? Are you okay? Are you sad?
Yeah, it's it was a lot.
Did you hear about, speaking of artists, let's just, like, this segues perfectly. Did you read about your boy Kanye, or now known as just Ye.
No.
So
I saw some billboards or something.
So it says here, this was this morning that I read this. The deluxe version of Donda features 5 new songs.
Okay.
And reordered track list. So the original track list that came out with the original Donda, he's adding 5 songs and switching up the order of the songs.
Okay.
So the new tracks are Life of the Party with Andre 3000.
Oh, he is putting that song on there. Okay.
Up from the Ashes, Remote Control Part 2 featuring Kid Cudi and Young Thug.
Okay, so it's just Remote Control. Okay.
Never Abandon Your Family. Keep My Spirit Alive Part 2 featuring Casey Conway and the Machine West Side Gun.
Keep my spirit alive.
Anyways, but he had some cool... I was reading here just briefly. So the track list goes from 27 to 32 tracks. It takes now the album over 2 hours and 11 minutes. That's a long album. That's a double album.
Really long album.
What was the one part that I was trying to get to here? So with the release of Donda, the 44-year-old scored his 10th #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart.
Yeah.
West is now one of only 7 musical artists with at least 10 top charting albums in the 65-year history of the Billboard 200 chart. That's pretty good stats. One of only 7 artists. So the Beatles and all that, Jay-Z and Springsteen and all that fun stuff. So,
did you see what else he was doing this weekend?
No, I just read about his album songs.
So he had all those mysterious billboards that popped up all over the place. Like they would have been digital billboards that just said Donda Deluxe by Kanye West or whatever. And then I think it was yesterday, he had like 200 people in Kanye West masks like wandering around New York.
Wait, are they the white masks that he was wearing?
Yep. They were all dressed like Kanye.
Did he get shot? Because
I don't think so. But he had and it might have been more than 200 people. It might have been less. I'm not sure. But I briefly saw a photo. Yeah, they were just all wandering around New York yesterday.
He never really explained why he was wearing those masks.
He's never going to explain.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just so weird.
We've talked about this before. Your big thing is you need answers for everything. You'll watch a movie and you're like, why? It's like with Halloween. You were like, why is he doing the murdering? Why is he murdering everybody? And it's like,
that's how my brain works, bro.
I know, that's fair. And it's just the whole point is that we're asking the questions, but we'll never get the answers.
I mean, I know the answer. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I'm just saying, was making combo basically.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, when he wears that and I see him, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
So let's talk. What did you do this weekend? Because I walked into the office. You were like, I feel like I haven't seen you in 50 years.
It felt like that. Nothing, honestly. I watched some things. That was it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have much to report from my weekend.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't have.
I watched the new James Bond movie.
Okay, yeah. Didn't see it, but I know how it ends.
You know how it ends, and I wanted to watch it before it got spoiled for me. Glad I did that. I've never I was telling you on Thursday or whatever. Not a big James Bond fan. It's
never been a series I've been into.
Yeah,
it's the same movie.
Yeah,
it's always the same movie.
Mission Impossible is more the one that I'm really into, and those are probably the same movie over and over. But I love them so much.
I don't think as much as James Bond is. James Bond is really down to the.
I think with the Daniel Craig era, I feel like they did actually kind of bring it into the 21st century and kind of, I feel like they elevated it a lot with the Daniel Craig. I don't like Daniel Craig as James Bond.
Terrible.
I
like a catfish.
And it's so weird.
He's not like the James Bond type at all.
No, he's not.
He's blonde. He's stocky.
Exactly. And he refused to dye his hair to be James Bond. He wanted to be blonde. And I think that was part of it initially, for me, because I realized that he's been James Bond for 15 years.
A long time, yes.
He took over as Bond in his first movie when I was in high school. I was in grade 11 because it was 2006.
See, my era was the Pierce Brosnan era.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan was
And
my
I
first.
love some of those. Like, I don't like James Bond, but I like some of those movies.
GoldenEye is an absolute.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like GoldenEye.
Aside from being a James Bond movie, it's a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Pierce Brosnan for me is James Bond. He's suave. He's like tall, dark, handsome. He's sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a debonair type attitude, whereas Daniel Craig is honestly the opposite for me. He's like a street baller, like fresh out of prison. Looks like Stewie grown up from Family Guy.
Like they may as well have just made Jason Statham James Bond.
Yeah.
I do love.
At least his head's round and not this like a football. Anyways, that's mean, but yeah, just not my favorite.
No,
but
and
that
that's
movie I heard though, the movie that you watched, what is it? No Time to Die or something like that. That it's actually a really well done movie. What were your thoughts? Because I haven't seen it.
yeah, well, without spoiling everything, because it is still a fairly new movie. Yeah, it's well done. My buddy Corey watched it last night and was texting me about it, and he's a huge James Bond fan. He was very upset with the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Because he's, like I said, a huge James Bond fan. Like he loves.
Because I talked to another one of my homies is a big James Bond fan and loved the movie.
Fair enough.
Like through and through.
Yeah.
So interesting how like two different, like fan favorite franchises can have two different opinions. So
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if he's upset at it for the wrong reasons or what. I don't know.
Did he articulate well, like kind of why he was not liking it?
Oh,
or?
yeah. Like he was texting me a few times during the movie where he was like, didn't like that.
Oh.
Didn't like that. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Watching a movie.
But yeah, I was like, don't worry, man. It's like, it's, James Bond will be back at some point. Yeah. One thing I did want to talk about is it's Britney, bitch. She's free.
I know.
She's done with the conservatorship.
Free to be crazy again.
Well, no, she's not crazy. She's not crazy. She was going through a really bad time in her life, and she just had paparazzi
and losing her kids, and her marriage was breaking.
Oh
up.
my God!
Anybody in that situation?
Have you watched any of the Britney?
I watched all of them.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
it's fuck
the
you're-
Britney versus Spears one, and then the controlling Britney Spears one, and then there's another one. There's like 3 that I watched.
I watched one of them. I didn't watch.
They
3.
all cover the same thing. So,
but so her conservatorship is ended. Mm-hmm. They are investigating her father to see how much money he's
$16,000 a month he was making, being her conservator.
16 grand
on paper.
Oh, I'm sure it was more than that.
But 16 grand anyways.
Oh, that's probably what was just going into his bank account.
Oh yeah, but like that's just crazy. So.
Oh, it's insane.
And I guess the chances of a conservatorship being reversed or nulled or canceled is next to none. Apparently, that next to never happens. Once a conservatorship is in place, very rarely is it ever canceled or nullified or any of that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very rare that ever happens. So she's lucky, I think. Lucky for her fans. Lucky for her lawyers, I guess, to putting it all together for her. So
it's a pretty high profile case. So it's
totally.
It would be ill-advisable for any judge in the country to not really kind of look at it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And how could anybody out in the world right now not know about the Free Britney movement and all her fans? And I mean, even if you're a judge somewhere, you're going to be reading about that, in your daily life, right?
Totally.
So I mean, she's so young still and has so much to offer. It makes sense. So I'm just glad that she's out from it, to be honest.
Because she's not, is she even?
I'm a big Britney fan.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. She's like, she's like crushes and like, pop princess and definitely.
Because she's not even, how old is Britney? Like, she's not even 40 yet, is she?
She's got to be in her 30s. Yeah, I don't think she's 40, no.
Because
30s probably, like 35.
If you really break it down, and of course the internet's not gonna work.
Oh, here, I can look it up.
Oh,
there you go. Oh, yeah.
Britney Spears Wikipedia. She was born in. Oh yeah, she's 40.
Oh wow.
She's literally turning. No, she's 39.
She's
She's turning 40
on.
on December 2nd of this year. So she's like in the last year of her 30s, which is really sad because how long?
That's so sad.
How long was she under the conservatorship for?
11 years or something like that.
I bet you her Wikipedia will tell us.
Maybe 13 years, something like that.
2008, so 13 years.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god.
from when she was 26.
My god.
Holy crap! So like the entirety of her 30s,
Yeah.
she was under this conservatorship, and that's awful. Like I'm really happy that she's out of it, and you know,
yeah, 100%. I didn't know too after watching that documentary that the conservatorship basically outlines her work. So for that long period of time, like everything that she did when she was work-wise under the conservatorship had to be approved by, set up by, and basically they made her work.
Yeah.
Like they made her do things that she wouldn't have normally done because under the conservatorship they controlled her.
Yeah.
That she did that like she had 5 years in Vegas, one of the most popular nights ever, made $50 million a year or something off that. Like,
Yep.
I remember she was saying I made so many people rich like during this 13 years, like
oh yeah,
just from working, like all these people that worked for the conservatorship and stuff.
oh
like,
100%.
just crazy.
It really sad, and hopefully that she's able to. Oh, dude, like I hope Jamie Spears goes down.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Like-
she's like, I've been reading too, attacking her whole family, her mom and her sister. Like, where were you? You guys had plays in this, and they were coming out publicly trying to support her. And she was like, you've never supported me. Like, don't start now.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I just feel bad to lose your whole family because of fame and money. Like, your whole family tried to rip you off. Like,
Yeah.
so sad. So,
Well, and I mean that's the mark of a really shitty person is
Oh, for
looking at your
sure.
daughter and being like, "There's my cash
cow,
cow."
yeah. Moo. Oh.
It is time to wake up.
Tropical,
Oh.
tropical. Have you been paying and obviously the Astroworld stuff?
Oh my god, yeah. I guess we can talk about Astroworld. I don't know a whole ton. I know that like 11 people died.
Yeah.
Okay, now fill me in. Is Astroworld something that Travis Scott did himself, or was it just a thing that he was performing at?
No, so it's his own thing.
Okay.
So his last album was called Astroworld. It went really big. Astroworld is actually like it's not a museum. It's like an amusement park.
Okay.
Sorry. So it used to be like an old amusement park outside of Houston where basically Travis Scott's from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if it was at Astroworld, but I know that he's bought because it's been torn. It's closed now. So I know that he either owns the property, but I don't know if that's where the concert was necessarily.
Okay.
But the concert was called Astroworld, and it was him, Drake, and I think a few other performers.
Was this the first year of it?
I think this was the first or second year. of
Okay.
it. Yeah, it's pretty new.
Okay.
50,000 people went, and I've been seeing so many TikToks about people who were there, had friends who were there. The one that I just watched the other day was like a paramedic that was actually there, and he was on the grounds like trying to resuscitate people, and like his TikTok was like the 3-minute long versions, 3 videos. So it was like 9 minutes long and 3 videos.
Oh.
And he basically was covering his experience there of seeing people basically laying on the ground everywhere. And he said that they were there they're with partners. So there's 2 paramedics at a time. They're never supposed to split up. He was like, everybody was split up.
Yeah.
And people were just like on the ground. People were giving like CPR to people. Like it was really bad. People trying to stop the concert. And like apparently Travis Scott didn't see or hear anything. So the concert kept going. It was like all this really weird stuff. So just a tragedy. I know that I loved going to concerts. I know you do.
Yeah.
Too. But this just kind of does change my idea about going to concerts now. They don't seem as safe or as properly set up as the ones that we went to.
Well, and to that point, I have no problem going to concerts, but a gigantic festival like that.
Yeah, that's more what I meant. Sorry.
Because I've been to a few. I mean, I've been to Warped Tour. I've been to like with thousands of people. I went to
Sasquatch at the Gorge. Like that's a huge outdoor
Yep.
festival. It was
There you go.
giant. Like
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
It does. I'm with you on that. It does definitely change my perspective
of like outdoor festivals.
Yeah, and it's like which
sucks.
Well, and
it just sucks.
It does suck, and my heart goes out to all those people
100%.
that died.
Oh my god!
Because you're never going to any concert or festival to go see one of your favorite artists play or whatever, thinking like, today I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
like today I'm not going home.
Yeah.
No one ever leaves the house thinking that when you're like, I'm gonna go see Travis Scott and then I'm gonna get trampled.
Yeah.
Because Travis Scott is really good at fucking causing basically pandemonium.
Yeah.
With everything that he does. And that's what I don't like. I don't know his music. I don't know anything about the guy at all. Do you listen to him?
I have a couple of his songs. Yeah.
Fair enough. I honestly, I couldn't tell you a single Travis Scott song.
Fine.
And that's all well and fine. The only reason I know his name is because of controversies that he's been in.
Right.
Wasn't he like married to one of the Kardashians at one, or
He's
just
dating one of them? Yeah.
Yeah, or he has a kid with one of them. Kylie. Yeah. Okay. So that's,
Kylie
and then there's the whole. There's the whole McDonald's thing.
Yeah.
The McDonald's collab he did that like blew up in their face too, where they had people like storming McDonald's, much like the Rick and Morty fans.
He had his own meal, right.
He had his own meal. That's like
There's like footage of him at previous concerts too, like inciting the crowd and telling them to go crazy and like.
Okay, I've been at concerts where the artists are like, "Yo, I want to see like." Well, I've been to a lot of metal shows where they're like, I want to see a circle pit. And I've seen some videos afterwards where people are posting videos of like, hey, when someone falls down,
yeah, totally,
you pick them up.
Yeah.
This isn't a game.
Yeah.
You don't there shouldn't be 50,000 people trampling over people.
There's something wrong there though. There's something wrong with that mentality of people like, what are you trying to enjoy a show? That's great, but like what?
Yeah.
And I saw some of the people, like there were some people that were like climbing up and trying to get the people's attention and trying to get the cameraman's attention. And there were good people there trying to get the concert stopped to get people help. But there was too many people that didn't care that overran anybody who cared, who's trying to get help.
Well, and then
so sad.
Oh, very sad. And one of the biggest things I saw out of that, and I don't know if you saw it, but was the video of Travis Scott stopping the show when they were trying to steal his shoes, like while he was crowd surfing. Did you see that?
No.
Oh my God. Yeah. Brutal. So it was like after, and I don't know if this was, I don't know if it was a previous concert or if it was at Astroworld. Like, I don't know I don't know the timeline of these things. But I just know that people were posting this video of like, so Travis Scott will stop a show if people are trying to steal his shoes.
I mean, you're crowd surfing, bro. Like,
well, yeah, and it's just like the kind
people
of
trying to stick their fingers in your butt.
Well, and
I've seen that happen.
Yeah,
like you just take that risk. I mean, you're really like your people are crazy and they will do crazy things.
But he's also playing to this generation that like, and I have nothing. I'm gonna make myself feel so old by saying this, but it's just like the current generation that's living off TikTok and all that. They're growing up in this world where we have billionaire overlords that we cannot stop from doing anything now because what is it? You showed me this the other day. Elon Musk now has like $300 billion or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like an unfathomable number amount of money. So
he has more money than the Rockefellers did.
Yeah.
And they held like the most amount of money ever in the world.
So
it's crazy.
they're growing up in this generation of like the system's like, oh no, our system, it's broken. They're growing up and they're like, we can't. The only way we can beat the system is by doing fucked up shit, posting videos of it online, and hoping that we can make money off of it. So every year, progressively, more and more people are doing more and more fucked up shit to try and get, you know, their 15 minutes of fame. And it's creating this, like, I don't know, progressively worse and worse. Like, I don't know. It feels like the mentality as you move down the chain of like age and generation in the especially in Canada and or like North America in general, it just feels like kids don't give a fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
My cousin,
Totally agree.
My cousin's a teacher, and she posted this on Facebook where she was subbing for this class and she was trying to get the class to do something and was like, hey, like, you can't have your phones out or something
Pretty normal for school.
Pretty normal and super easy. And this kid was like, basically was like, no, screw you. Like, I'll cancel you on Twitter if you like, essentially, you know what I mean? Where it was just like, and I'm like, that was some of the most
Oh my God.
adolescent asinine shit I've ever heard in my life.
Entitlement.
Like crazy entitlement,
Yeah.
where it's like, you're just gonna, and she just kind of laughed it off. She was like, hey, that's ridiculous. But it posed this really scary thing where it's like, oh my God.
And that's
like,
also a threat.
it is that kid
even
was,
though it's like a social media, you're threatening somebody. With
yeah,
something.
she was, that kid
that's
was literally
terrible.
threatening my cousin, which is ridiculous.
100%. Yeah.
But like, think about that mentality where you're just like, that uber entitlement kind of like, if I don't get my way, I'm gonna like cancel you on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes you think about
Parents.
well, just some of the shit that's
Makes
happened.
me think about parents.
Well, parents for sure.
I mean, I think too many parents. I've seen it in the grocery store, man. Like things that I would, if I did that, my mom
Yeah.
would look at me, and I would know.
Oh.
And then when we got home,
Yeah.
I would get spanked the heck out.
Yeah.
But you know, I see it all the time. I see parents that are just treating their kids not like kids, treating them like friends. They treat them, they don't parent them. They
No.
like want to be friends with their kid and be cool and like know what's happening. And like, they think that being friends with them allows them to like have like a more open dialogue with their kid when that's like totally not the fact. That's what my mom tried to do. My mom like tried to be like my friend when I was like a teenager. And I'm like, I don't need a friend. I have enough friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I could have used some parenting. So, but yeah, I mean, I see it all the time with kids and parents, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're just gonna let your kid do that?
Yeah.
And like with no consequence. And I'm not saying hit, beat, or anything.
No.
You can verbally and in a like a good way, you know, discipline your child. But you just
got to stand your ground. I don't want to turn this whole thing into like a get off my lawn podcast because like fuck. There's not many things like I definitely don't feel like I'm in my early 30s still. I definitely don't feel I feel old sometimes when I get out of bed and I'm like, oh, my back hurts. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like mentally a lot of the time I'm still like, yeah, like I'm still 19 in my head.
Right.
And then you start talking about certain things and it's like, oh God, no, I'm definitely not 19 anymore.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to talk about is the Queen. She missed the Remembrance Day Sunday service due to back pain. She's 95.
Yeah,
I know. I don't really care about the monarch either. Like I don't really give a shit.
it's a pet peeve of mine. The monarch.
Fair enough.
I hate it.
But
Yeah.
she's been the monarch
I know.
for your entire life.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
My entire life. She's 95.
Give it up.
No. There is going to come a point where she's going to die. Like she is going to, because what
The Queen Mother, I think, only lived till she was like, I think she was 100. So not far away.
That I don't know.
Not far away from where she's at now. She's 95, you said?
She's 95, and she's starting to have, like, she's been killing it. She was still driving around.
I don't get it.
No, I don't understand it either. But like, just like think about that. That's something that people have basically been waiting for since she was like in her 70s, like 25 years ago. Where it's like, oh, like, what's gonna happen when Elizabeth passes away? And it's just like, okay, like,
then her son will take over King Douchebag. King Big Ears.
Prince Charles
will become King Charles.
Is he next in line? I didn't think he was next in line.
Yeah. So then all our money's going to change. Her face is going to disappear. His big-eared face is
I
going to be on
don't think
all our
our
money.
money's going to change.
Yeah, oh yeah. It represents the current monarch, always. That's why you don't know, because it's never changed.
Really?
Yeah, well, so the bills previous, so I have some old $1 and $2 bills from like the 40s and 50s that my grandma left me, and those bills have the Queen Mother on them.
Oh.
So every time the monarch changes, the money changes too.
Oh.
So that means we get King Big-Eared Charles on all of our bills. With his lazy eye.
But we don't, but no, Queen Elizabeth's only on 20s.
Yeah, so he would take over the
Old
20s.
prime ministers are on every other bill.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. So whatever bill she's on, the 20.
No, she will stay on the 20, I bet. And then they'll create like a...
She'll get like a stamp and like a coin, and then...
They'll create like a $2 bill and put Charles on it. I don't know. I just wanted to point that because like I just thought it was interesting that I was like, she's like a staple. She's been there the whole time that we've been alive, and like eventually she's not going to be there.
She's like our mother. She's like our grandmother, our grandmama,
Grandmother Elizabeth.
But like, what are you doing at 95? You have a monarch. Fucking retire. Give it to your dumb son.
I don't think you can
go live in a palace. She can do whatever she wants.
Fair enough. I don't think.
But
she
anytime
can
I hear like Markle and like those, I freak out. I can't handle it. Like Markle's dad and Markle's mom and Markle, and she's a bad person. She's a good person. She's on Oprah. They left. Oh my God. I hate all of it.
I'm not into.
Anytime I see anything, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Not into. I'm not into the royalty thing.
No, don't care.
It's not. I don't. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't care. We can move on from that. So it's Monday.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Today is Monday. You're seeing this on Tuesday, but today is Monday.
And what are you doing tonight?
So last week, I was going off about like I get to see the Ghostbusters movie on Wednesday, and then literally we finished the podcast, and I got a message from a friend, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing on Monday?" And I was like, I had to think about that. I was like, I'm podcasting, but
like I'm working,
and she was like 7 p.m. and I was like, oh no, nothing. I'm like, I'm free. Why? What's up? And she's like, do you want to go to the crew screening? And I'm like, hell yes. So it turns out I actually get to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife tonight instead of 2 days from now, which is pretty dope. Because last week it was like 9 days, and then it immediately turned into 6 days. So that was really cool. I'm very excited. It actually doesn't feel real, like at all, because of how long it's been and like.
Oh my goodness, yes. And how long this movie's been on your radar and like waiting for it to come out and all those stories that you have.
So, also last week, Matt, one of the guys we work with, asked me. He said, "What happens if you go see the movie?"
Oh yeah.
He's like, what happens?
I was like, where is this going? Oh yeah.
He's like, what happens if you go see the movie and like you don't like it? And I was like, Matt, really? I don't feel like there's a universe where I go see this movie and I don't like it. I don't think there is.
I would 1,000,000% agree with you.
But at the same time, my expectation level for this movie is I don't think I've ever been as excited for a movie or anything in my life as I am for this movie.
Okay. Those are some big words. I'm just saying. But yeah, I know you, and I know that you are excited, and I know how much this means to you. I really do. What?
No, I just like the gravity of it still hasn't really hit me. The fact that it, like,
Yeah, but we said that. I was like, it's not.
Oh.
You're not going to be in it until that screen comes on,
I know.
and you're like, oh my god.
Yep.
I have no choice.
And I'm also really hoping. Okay, well, no. Before I'm trying. One of the notes I wrote here is, "Don't let your ADHD take over and ruin the podcast." This episode's brought to you by ADHD. I'm really hoping that the fact that it was shot in places that I'm familiar with, places that I spent a lot of time in, doesn't pull me out of the movie, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because, for example,
Yep.
the Chinese food restaurant that we grew up going to and loving, like going there all the time, we like during school, it'd be like, let's go to the Chinese food restaurant, or just like some random nights, it'd be like, let's go to the Chinese food
Been
restaurant
to that Chinese food restaurant
in Crossfield.
Yeah.
The street, like Main Street in Crossfield's in the movie. My high school that I
One of the classroom
graduated.
scenes.
Yes, they used the science room that we spent a lot of time in the movie. And it's like, I was telling you last week, when I saw that photo of the movie playing in Amsterdam,
Right.
and seeing the science room
Right. That you went to high school
that
in.
we went to high school
In a movie that you
in a
love.
movie that I love, in a movie franchise that I have spent my entire life loving, on a screen in Amsterdam.
Inception. It's just some Inception shit.
Just like, that was the whole, like, these are the things that I can't fathom.
Right.
Like, where I can't fully put it together that, like, that actually happened, like that experience, because it's been so long. It was summer of 19, so it's like almost 2.5 years ago now that experience like happened. And it feels like such a fever dream that it's kind of like, and now we're finally getting to see the fruits of their labor.
Yeah.
And I also said last week that I spent some time on set, which was a lot of fun. I got a visitor's pass. I got to wander around on set a little bit. I saw some stuff. May have seen, well, I mean, I can say it. I mean, I saw a proton pack in a scene that, I'm not going to tell you what scene it was, but I saw through a window. I was watching one of the director's monitors, like the monitors that Dan Aykroyd and Jason Reitman and Ivan Reitman were like standing behind, watching the scene. I was watching their monitors, and on screen was a fucking proton pack. And I'm like, this is Ghostbusters.
Yep.
This is legitimately Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've told anyone that. This is the first time I've said that out loud.
Fair enough.
Because up until this point, I've always just said, oh, yeah, I had to sign an NDA. I saw some shit. There's like other stuff that I saw that I won't say anything about until the movie gets released. But I met Paul Rudd that night. Super, like,
Rad.
salt of the earth guy. Like, honestly, my friend...
People's sexiest man.
Yeah. Congrats to Paul Rudd. He's the sexiest man alive, according to people, which is great. He's also like just super, super, super nice. And every single night after they were done filming, he would hang out and sign autographs, take photos with like 150 people every single night. Everyone that wanted to like meet him, he was there. He was there to like
That's awesome.
meet everybody. And
I love that professionalism.
oh man, it's just the mark of a true like.
Yeah.
He loves what he does,
Yeah.
and he loves the fact that what he does, people adore him.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's iconic.
He's absolutely
He's been
iconic.
in so many iconic movies.
Yeah.
Clueless is like the first movie where I remember him coming onto my radar as
Yep.
being like, oh, this guy's like really good.
And he hasn't aged a day since.
Not really, no. And I know he's been in a million other things, but for me, that's kind of when I first became aware of him as
Totally.
an actor. So And then to follow his career through there, I mean, now he's Ant-Man, and now he's in this movie franchise, and who knows where this movie franchise is going to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure with the popularity and the success of this movie that's about to come out, you know, they'll probably be looking at maybe making another movie. So.
I think the point is that they're passing the torch.
Right.
And they want to make more.
Right.
And I really hope that if that's the case, that they do bring it back.
Yeah.
And film more here.
100%.
I would love that.
A question I had for you was, where else was it filmed that you know of? So Crossfield being a major part, but where else? Do you know?
So are you familiar with Dorothy, Alberta?
No.
Okay, so it's east of the city. I actually shot a music video in Dorothy, Alberta.
Okay.
It's east of the city. It's kind
Is
of
that
by
where the church was? That you
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
it's kind of by Drumheller.
Oh, okay.
There's like a rickety old bridge out there, and they filmed the Ecto 1 driving. It's like a single lane bridge, so you have to like, as you're coming down into the valley, you have to like watch on
so
the
make
other
sure
side
that
to
you
make
have
sure that you know
that.
somebody's not already crossing the bridge. So they shot in Dorothy, Alberta.
So pretty remote, like really kind of
a lot of it was
areas.
remote. I don't know where they built Egon. I guess I can say I don't. I know that it's Egon's farmhouse. I didn't see that. I was not under NDA for that because that's just common knowledge out there. It's the Spengler farmhouse that they're moving into. Even though there's still people online that are like refusing to believe that. They're like, I still don't believe that they're the Spengler family or whatever. And it's like, you're stupid.
They don't know anything.
No. And
it's just curious. I'm wondering where the movie's going to take place because there's all these remote areas. It's like,
so the town is called Somerville.
Okay.
It's Somerville, and it's some town in the U.S.
Right. Like the majority of like the main street footage and stuff they took was
yeah. So they used like some of Crossfield's Main Street for Somerville. They shot a lot in Fort McLeod.
Okay.
Which have you ever been? You've been to Fort McLeod.
Maybe.
It's like on the way to like Lethbridge.
Oh, yeah.
You probably have driven through it.
Yeah.
Fort McLeod has a very iconic like main street.
Okay.
In fact, on Saturday night, they did the Canadian premiere of the movie in Fort McLeod.
Oh, wow.
So like the Calgary Ghostbusters were there, the Winnipeg Ghostbusters were there. It was like a whole big thing.
Huh.
So Dorothy, Fort McLeod. I know they shot in Calgary. I know they shot in Crossfield. They did some in Irricana. I know, the Deerfoot City Walmart?
Yep.
Like the one off 64th?
Yeah.
That Walmart scene in the trailer was shot, like they shot at that Walmart.
Right. It's just like not a great Walmart. It's so random.
No, it's actually, well, they updated it. Like it's all, I don't know if you've been there lately, but it's like
that's
the whole
my Walmart.
Yeah, the whole front facade's like updated and like they Americanized it.
But the inside, you're like, okay.
Well, it was, it worked out perfect for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, man. I can't wait.
I also, the night I met Paul Rudd, I also met Jason. Okay. I met Jason Reitman, the guy who directed, like he's Ivan Reitman's son. He directed this movie. I got to meet him briefly, and I didn't get a photo with him, which I was just like stunned, and I didn't really think about it till he had like hopped in the shuttle to like drive away, and I was like, I didn't get a fucking photo with him. But in our interaction, they were wrapping up a Friday for the long weekend. At some point in the summer, it was like maybe August long or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe whatever it was. So anyway, he was like, hey, he comes over. He's like, I heard there's somebody over here that wanted to meet me. And I was like, hi, it's me. Like it's my birthday party. And I was like, hey man, thank you. I was just I think the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, thank you so much for bringing this here. Like, thank you for doing this here. And he was like, yeah, of course. And then he was just kind of like just being super nice and just being, he's like, so what do you got? He was like, you doing anything for the long weekend? And I was like, actually, and me just, I'm having a conversation with Jason Ray. I was like, I was supposed to go camping, but now that's not happening. So I don't know what's going on. And he's just like, the first thing is, this dude loves movies. He goes, to me, he's like, hey, go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it had just come out. And I looked at him and I was like, I've already seen it twice. And he looks at me and he goes, so have I. And so we kind of geeked out. It was like, and we geeked out over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And we were like, it's so good. And like, we kind of had that and blah, blah, blah. And like, so we kind of had that exchange. And then I was like, yeah, man, like, I showed him my tattoos and he was like, those are awesome. Cause like, obviously I have, Miles is doing my left arm, which Miles, you got to come here and finish it, because I don't want to go to Victoria to get it finished. I'm tired of traveling and getting tattooed. I love you, Miles. But so Jay, you know, it was unreal. He was like, dude, like tattoos are great. And then he was like, okay, yeah, I got to like bomb out of here. So it wasn't like a really long conversation, but it was like a really nice conversation.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like a bonding moment. It sounds perfect.
For sure. Ivan Reitman.
Yeah.
Faja directed the original 2 Ghostbusters movies. At one point, I'm standing across the street. So I've got my visitor's pass now. Everybody else from Crossfield is across the street. Like, they're keeping the crowd on that side. But I've now got a visitor's pass, so I can basically stand on set. I'm wearing a Ghostbusters hat, too. I'm like wearing my New Era Ghostbusters hat. Awesome. And so I'm standing across the street. I'm talking to a friend of mine who works in the film industry. And we're just standing there, and we're kind of standing next to the building that has craft services in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing there talking, and all of a sudden, this like little old man just kind of walks across the street, comes and stands right next to me, literally elbow to elbow with me. And I'm looking at my friend, and I'm just like, I'm talking normally, but in the inside, I am freaking out because it's Ivan Reitman standing right next to me. And I'm like, okay. What? I'm like, what do I do in this instance?
Like, do I kidnap him? Do I put him in my pocket and run away?
Goodbye.
You're like, oh,
I'm sorry. I'm taking you with me. No, I
have a cage for you at home.
I stayed super. I didn't say anything to him, and I don't know. I don't regret not saying anything to him because I didn't want to get.
What are you, A-bomb?
Well, I didn't want to. Yeah, in that moment, I was A-bomb. I didn't want to get kicked off set. I didn't want to do anything that was going to A, draw attention to me.
Yeah.
B, get me kicked off set and get somebody else in trouble for me being there.
Fair enough.
So I just kind of like.
Minded your P's and Q's.
I was also just kind of like, I'm like, why did he come and stand next to me for as long as he did? Like,
he wanted you to talk to him.
Well, and then that's what I'm wondering. I wanted him. I was wondering.
This is the universe being like, hello.
Well, just wait, because it gets worse. He walks into craft services, grabs a sandwich, comes back out with his sandwich, stands right next to me again, elbow to elbow, and I don't say anything. He's standing there eating his sandwich, and I'm just like, Ivan Reitman standing right next to me, and
how's that sandwich?
I was able to talk to Robin Williams. I was able to talk to I've been able to talk. We talked about this last week. I've been able to talk to so many people that are like stratosphere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like celebrities.
Yeah.
And I could not work up the courage.
Fair enough.
To say anything to Ivan Reitman.
Your kryptonite.
Ivan Reitman is my kryptonite.
Yeah, he's your celebrity kryptonite.
That's got to be the title of this episode. Ivan Reitman is my kryptonite. Because honestly, and not in a bad way, in a good way, where it was just like, I am
You're just being ultimately respectful.
Literally in awe of you. And not only that, I'm wearing short sleeves. So I don't know if he like saw the Scolari brothers on my arm and he's like, oh, but it's like,
I'm gonna grab a sandwich.
But it's also like, he's like, I'm Ivan Reitman. If this guy doesn't want to talk to me, that's on him. I don't have to initiate conversation, which I wish that he did. That's what if I have any regret, it's that he didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find the words.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
There's no way I would have been like, I would have said something stupid, and it would have been bad. But if he had been like, hey, like I see you have the Scolari, like if he had initiated conversation after shitting myself, I absolutely would have been like, yes, I do. I'm glad you like. Thank you very much. I'm going to go peacefully pass away now. So that's my Ivan Reitman
He's
story.
like, heard you were supposed to go camping this weekend. You're like, how'd you know?
Oh my God. Instead, I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he's like, so did my son twice. I'm like, me too. Yeah.
That's fair, dude. Sometimes you just know, obviously, that, you know, whether you're feeling. I mean, he means so much to you.
Yeah.
I'm not really that surprised, to be honest.
No, I'm not either.
It does make sense after knowing you, for sure. I mean, and like, what are you gonna say?
Yeah,
Thank you for changing my whole entire life.
Yeah,
Like,
because I'm sure he hears that all the time,
but
and
it
it's
still
like
means something to some of them. Some of them.
And I'm sure it would. And I'd like
sure
to
it would.
think it would mean something to
Totally.
him too.
Yeah.
But it's again, it goes back to what I was saying last week. Don't meet your heroes because they cannot meet you where your expectations lie.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I tempered my expectations and I did not say anything to Ivan Reitman because God fucking forbid that went super bad. I was not willing to chance it. Could you imagine? Could you
go
imagine?
to talk to him and he's like, "Who are you?
Exactly.
Who are you?"
Oh,
He's like, "Whose visitor are you?"
Yeah, like
Let's security.
Yeah.
Can we get security?
God
You're like,
fucking forbid. I'm just like,
Your whole life
all of a sudden
ruined.
I'd have a great story, but now for the rest of my life, I'm going, Ivan Reitman
this is my mugshot from when I got put
hated
in
me.
jail.
Ivan Reitman hated me.
Yeah, and it would ruin your movie experience. It would ruin everything.
So I was like, I am going to talk to the people I know. Beyond that, that's it. Not talking to anybody else. Also, Finn Wolfhard from the Stranger Things kid.
Yeah.
He's fucking tall.
Oh.
He's like 8 feet tall, man.
Huh. He's a string bean.
Yes, he's
He's
all
like 70 pounds soaking wet.
but he's really because I saw
Slender man.
He walked past me on set when he was coming out of the one location. He walked past me and it was just like, oh my God, like
Wow.
and his hair is super long. I don't know if his hair's still super long, but because obviously they shot the movie 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's like he's 25 years old now and he's supposed to be playing like a
Stranger
16-year-old
Things.
kid.
Well, they all are.
I know.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Well, because they just keep getting older, and COVID fucking pushed everything by another couple of years. And
True.
But yeah, I want to wrap this up pretty quick because I don't want to be editing this all day. But yeah, it's. What am I trying to say, Adam? I'm very excited, and yeah, that's why I didn't talk to Ivan Reitman. It's weird because meeting Paul Rudd was like meeting people and like saying hi, but the thing with me standing next to him or him walking over to me and standing next to me for like a good minute and a half, like it was a while, and then he bombed into craft services, came back out, stood there for like another at least minute while he just kind of chewed on his like egg salad sandwich and then bombed back to set. Like that was good enough for me. Good
understand, totally.
enough for me.
Yeah.
I had a friend who he had like the first Lego Ecto 1 set that came with like the 4 figures, so it was like the small one.
Yeah.
I've got the big one that I want to build this week.
I know.
Actually, I want to do a live stream for that because I think that'd be fun.
I'll do it with you.
But he had the little one, and he said that Dan Aykroyd saw him from like a ways away in Crossfield and was like, "Hey, let me sign that." So he like went over and Dan Aykroyd signed his car.
Rad.
I think Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson, like I think meeting it would be the same thing. I don't think I would be able to function the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meeting any of them.
Yeah.
Harold Ramis would have been the worst.
Yeah.
Harold Ramis would have been the worst because
R.I.P.
Would have been because functionally I would not have been able to find words.
No.
Because Egon has always been my favorite Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And I might get a little emotional.
It's all good. Do it.
Because I'll never forget the day that he died. Huh. That day, I was working at WestJet. My sister texted me. I was like just about to bring in a plane, and I looked at my phone, and she was like, "I don't know if you saw, but Harold Ramis died." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Put my phone back in my pocket. Didn't really think about it. Brought the plane in, turned the plane, whatever, sent it out. Just kind of was going about my day, and then I went into the lunchroom. And I was kind of sitting there and like, it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, that really sucks. Like that really sucks. And then Joey Wood, we were sitting there and he kind of calls out across the lunch. He's like, hey, Lank, I don't know if you saw, but like Harold Ramis died, hey? I'm like, yeah, I saw. And he was just like, and then he asked me, he was like, you okay? And it was that question.
That's when I hate you, though.
Because
it had like sunk in.
He was like, he wasn't asking facetiously. He was genuinely like, are you okay?
He knows that you love him and you guys are friends.
And I was like, once he had asked that, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I'm not okay. So I actually had to leave the lunchroom because I was like, fuck, I'm not. That was a very bad day. It was also for years and years and years and years. There was always this like, it would pop up every once in a while where they're like, they're going to do Ghostbusters 3. And it was like, oh shit, like they're going to do, all right, maybe this is legit. And then it always came back down to like, Bill doesn't want to do it. And like, it never really panned out. And then when Harold died, it was just like, it's never going to happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, how could you really? Yeah. But now it makes sense. And now I'm glad that they're bringing it back to the same universe.
So what I know about this movie is that it's very much a tribute to Harold Ramis. Is what I know about this movie. I know a lot more about this movie than I'm letting on. I'll say that. I didn't read the script, but I heard a lot of things about the script. It doesn't ruin my movie going experience. But I know that this is a big tribute to Harold Ramis, and I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
And all of the first reports coming out about the movie it's people like literally leaving the movie in tears. So I'm going to be a fucking mess tonight.
Let that mascara run.
Oh my God, mascara everywhere. I'm going to purposely put mascara on so that when I leave the theater, I'm going to look like Taylor Swift in that one music video where she's like crying and looks crazy.
You would know.
Interesting how we came back to Taylor Swift. Full circle.
There you go, Krista.
One thing I did want to note. I lost my train of thought. I did want to note something else about the movie, I think, but I lost my train of thought. It's okay. I'm very excited about tonight. I do want to wrap it up because this is going to take me all day to edit and export and get up.
I'm just letting you have your moments.
No, I know.
Letting you get your Ghostbusters out.
I don't know. I'm trying not to be like too like pensive about it, but like honestly, it feels very weird that we're finally here.
Yeah.
Like the moment is finally here, and I get to see it. Like it's Monday today. It doesn't come out till Friday, so like I get to see it like 4 days before.
And you get to see it on Wednesday.
And I'm going on. Yeah, so I'm going tonight and Wednesday with my wife, so that she gets to see it. Because she told me, she was like, she told me a while ago. She was like, because sometimes I just assume that she doesn't want to do things, I guess.
Okay.
And so she very explicitly had to be like, hey, just so you know, I want to see this movie.
Okay.
And I want to see this movie with you, just so I didn't like go and book a single ticket.
She knows you very well.
She knows me very well, because otherwise I would have just bought one ticket and I'd be like, I'm going to this by myself, bye. And she would have been like, okay, I wanted to see it. And I'd be like, that's fine. We can go like 6 more times.
Yeah.
But guaranteed I will see this. At minimum, I will see this movie 3 times in theaters.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch it.
If not, that's fine.
I'm just kidding.
I genuinely don't care if any other people see it. If I was the only person in the world that cared this much about it, that would be fine with me. But it seems like there's a lot of people that really, really care about this movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So on that note,
I'm excited to see it.
I'm good to wrap up. You got anything else for this week?
Wrap it up. We came full circle, Ghostbusters. Now we're back to Taylor Swift. It's perfect.
That was Matt.
I know when to shut up.
I believe it's magic. And now we're back to Ghostbusters. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Make sure you subscribe to the Apple Podcast version, the Spotify podcast version of this. We're also on Stitcher, Google, Amazon. We're basically wherever you can get podcasts.
TikTok.
We have TikTok. I have TikTok.
Paradigm.
What? Paradigm?
I don't know.
He's just saying words.
We're on WhatsApp.
Follow our Instagram accounts. And also
Please
make sure you
subscribe.
subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers.
Put
at
those
this point.
auto downloads for the podcast on too.
Oh yeah,
please.
auto downloads.
That
Auto
helps
download
us.
everything. But honestly, thank you so much for listening.
And
This has
watching.
been and watching. This has been the Mundane Pancakes podcast. I'm Lincoln.
And Maybomb.
We will catch you next week.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.